So today I will be talking about the Toronto Raptors. Now there's a lot to like about this young Toronto Raptors team, starting first and foremost with your young star Scotty Barnes, the 2021 Rookie of the Year, and you draft Grady Dick with the 13th overall pick in this year's draft. Now I love the shooting ability out of Grady Dick. He's also an underrated finisher, and he could very well be a sleeper for Rookie of the Year this year, as we saw Scotty Barnes, his teammate, won Rookie of the Year back in 2021 in a draft class that had Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and he still took home the Rookie of the Year. I could be looking at Grady Dick as a sleeper candidate for Rookie of the Year this year. Now, outside of Scotty Barnes and Grady Dick, there's plenty of talent to go around to this team. Pascal Siakam being the star player of the squad. You also have Gary Trent Jr. at the shooting guard position. You bring in Dennis Schroeder to run the point guard for your team after losing Fred VanVleet in free agency on that big contract. Houston obviously just paid him more than Toronto could pay. And Toronto didn't see Fred VanVleet as a 3-year, $130 million contract worth player, and I honestly agree. Now, getting into some potential lineups that we'll see from the Toronto Raptors this year, it'll be very interesting to see how OG Anunoby is mixed in, as he has brought it to the coaching staff that he wants the ball in his hands more. And there's a lot of ball handlers on this team, a lot of players that need the ball in their hand. So it's going to be interesting to see how the offense could work through him more. But I'd be looking at a starting lineup of Gary Trent at the 1, OG Anunoby at the 2, Scotty Barnes at the 3, Pascal at the 4, and I'd be looking at Jakob Poeltl to start at the center position. And off the bench, that leaves you with some very solid options. Grady Dick is a great rotational player, along with Precious Achiuwa. You have Dennis Schroeder to run some backup point guard. You could even give Marquez Noel some minutes, the small point guard from Kansas State who made some magic happen in March Madness this previous year. So there's a lot of ways that this Toronto Raptors team could split up their rotation, and it's going to be exciting to see how they do it. Other than losing Fred VanVleet, this team pretty much stayed the same, and I expect this team to go 41-41 and earn themselves a play-in berth next season.